Oh, hello, friends. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Just having a little taste of Smith and Cross. John, how are you today?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Very fine. Very fine indeed. I'm having.
Well, liquid courage there for the stream. Nice.
Always helps. Loosen those gears.
I'm
Wait, grease the wheels. There we go. Grease the wheels.
yeah. I'm a little cocky tonight. I did not have a drink before the stream.
You're feeling that good, huh? It's like an old hat at this point.
Yeah, yeah. But so I, I heard someone on a podcast say, artists rather than prepare for like a performance properly, they will get drunk before the performance because then they figure, uh, if we fuck up, then at least I'm having a good time. I'll be drunk. Um, the podcaster's advice was to instead prepare.
Ah, I think that's a better idea. And you feel prepared.
You look dressed like you're in a hotel. A little different outfit tonight.
I wanted to dress for the occasion. I wanted to be. I don't know how. What's the? Wait, I don't know how you put it. I wanted to honor our ancestors from the Savoy Hotel. I might be acting like they were that much further back than they were. Now it was only less 90 years ago. Ada Coleman, I think, was still doing it from 1908 to 1925 is when she ran the American Bar in the Savoy Hotel. So maybe almost a little more than 100 years ago. So still our ancestors, maybe not too crazy, but I wanted to. It felt right. Felt more right than. I don't know. I almost even wore a a short sleeve shirt without a tie, and it just. I felt like we needed to be in that era. I'm straight monochromatic.
I like it. I love a good hotel bar, and I really like trying to, go back in my mental time machine to picture this one, Savoy Hotel, in the center of London, from late 1800s to 1930s. Certainly, when this book was written, the book we're covering tonight, sounds like a classy establishment.
Yeah, where it sounds like a lot of Americans went to when everything was dry here because of temperance, um, where everybody went to
Right.
still maybe even not necessarily get hammered, but be able to go and still try cocktails. And there was a lot um, around that time. There was a lot of invention, and they were trying to keep it avant-garde and change it all the time too. And I really appreciate what that gave us to work with, and in this era, it also made me feel like I had a little bit more freedom to just try whatever, because it doesn't matter how you get there. If the guests like it and it tastes good, then shouldn't that be what it's about, rather than, oh, don't use that, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting the role this hotel played, and the time that we're talking about. Like you said, like Harry Craddock, the author of the book, was American trained bartender, originally from England, came back to England when Prohibition hit, because that's not a good time to be a bartender.
No,
What if we,
they
what if
want
we
us
had
to
an
sell
event like that in
insurance.
recent history? It's not
Yeah,
a good time to be a bartender.
yeah, exactly.
But anyway, post Prohibition, he brings all his trained knowledge to London, and that some people credit this hotel with spreading American cocktails to Europe.
That's that's right, John. I remember we were talking about that before, and that's a really cool thing, because they were known, the American cocktail programs, kind of like our last stream when we were talking about Jerry Thomas, and that time, that was when things were being explored and big flavors and were being produced, and people were wanting to try more and more and experiment with more. So that makes perfect sense that it's following that. And Harry Craddock took over after Ada Coleman, right?
Right.
Okay. Warming my soul with a Smith & Cross here.
Lovely. Lovely. Good choice.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks to you, I keep it around on the regs. So, I would have never otherwise.
It wasn't in regular rotation before?
No, not at all. In fact, I didn't do a lot of rums after college. I liked,
Right.
you know, El Dorado. Like, I like the more bourbon-like rums, the aged rums. More bourbon-like and less funky even. But just like bitter
Right.
products, I've warmed up to them a lot. I appreciate all the nuanced flavors all the layers of flavor that are in there rather than just the one note.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's a staple in my bar as well.
Yeah, I even actually made the, thanks to you, I just tried your Negroni variation with the Smith & Cross. Always a big fan of that one. Breen, I like having that rich Negroni variation.
That one is spreading. I'm glad the good word of Smith & Cross is spreading.
Yeah, it's working out, that's for sure. Bree's happy. She's got a big smile right now.
Hey, another announcement about tonight's stream is we have a guest pick tonight from the book.
That's right. Lucif came through and picked out, their choice was the Yellow Daisy. We got it up here. Can you see this okay? Is there a sign coming through? I know we moved it around. It's kind of far, but it's fine. Should we put it back where we talked?
Yeah, a little hard to see, but Easter egg for all the eagle-eyed viewers.
Right, we can put it back where we talked about. I just got distracted when I was getting everything ready. Should we move it back? I forgot all about that.
I can read it.
No, John, you should have seen it. John and I had it earlier,
All right.
and it looked really great. Here, look, that was easy.
No, it's good. It's fine. It's fine. Lucif sees it. Welcome in, Lucif.
Yay!
Hey, Lucif. Thank you for coming in. Now it's got a double trouble, right? Double trouble action. Welcome in. What kind of absinthe did you end up finding for today? I know we talked earlier, and you were going to look for some Eagle Eyes. Perfect. Good. I'm glad you found it. What was that absinthe? I'm dying to know. Because we were talking about trying to find something local, but I don't know how.
Something under $100.
The Oregon one that I have. Oh yeah, the Oregon Spirit. Right, something under $100. Good call, John. That's a one. I'm glad you like it. We're gonna do a variation on that. In fact, I don't know if you have any misters or little spray bottles, but because we are going to dial down, because the Daisy was originally created for 6, your cocktail choice, we wanted to scale it down so we could just make one of them. So John and I both decided we put our absinthe into misters, and we'll do a quick rinse, meaning 2 squirts inside the glass just before we pour the cocktail in, to help that flavor set in but not overpower the whole thing. So if you still have any misters, go ahead and grab one right now and throw some absinthe in it, so you can follow along just like us. Otherwise, you can use a small, about 1/4 of a bar spoon, and that'll help be roughly equivalent of what we're going for. John, I'm excited. Man, that sounds like a fun, interesting. We got so many interesting cocktails. In fact, Lucif, should we wait to find out what inspired you to pick this one? We will, but be ready. We want you to tell us. We'll read it on the air for everybody to know. But we want you to tell us what inspired you.
It's got a great description in the book, so we can't wait to share that as well. But yeah, we'll go to Lucif for the true story.
Right. We got to find out why she did it. But John's right. He has hooked up a great visual and is going to be able to read some of these great stories that came from the Savoy cocktail book, which I love. Like, that was, for being back then, right, John? It was a great way to invoke excitement about the idea of a drink before you even made it to try and taste it. And that's what we do. It's really about the experience. I can give you a really good drink if you're having a shitty time. It's not going to taste as good overall. So, yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited that you have that. You have a Mr. It has smoky one. Save it, because I can. Yeah, don't use that, because then it's going to take a while to keep that flavor in there. Or it's going to hold the smoky flavor more. It's going to overpower the absinthe then at that point. We'll just do a small amount for you. But we should get started, John, right?
Yeah, before we expand these ingredients, we have to warn you that they're written in a little different way. And we actually have a preview from the book, if I'm allowed to read it.
Yeah, here, let me.
Yeah, let's have Bree bring it up so everybody can see it.
So I think it's loaded. If you load the image, the daiquiri. We're not making a daiquiri tonight, but this gives you kind of a sense of the way the book was written. The units are different. They're often given in just ratios. They're not given in ounces or such.
There you go. Read it to us.
Yeah. So here's a scan of the daiquiri page, and daiquiri is my favorite cocktail. We're not making one, but I just was so glad that it was accompanied by a long passage about the daiquiri.
Like everyone.
Let me read that. The moment had arrived for a daiquiri. It was a delicate compound. It elevated my contentment to an even higher pitch. Unquestionably, the cocktail on my table was a dangerous agent, for it held in its shallow glass bowl, slightly encrusted with undissolved sugar, the power of a contemptuous indifference to fate. It set the mind free of responsibility, obliterating both memory and tomorrow. It gave the heart an adventurous feeling of superiority and momentarily vanquished all the celebrated, the eternal fears. Yes, that was the danger of skillfully prepared intoxicating drinks. The word intoxicating adequately expressed their power, their menace to orderly, monotonous resignation. A word, I thought further, debased by moralists from its primary ecstatic content. But then, with a fresh daiquiri and a sprig of orange blossom in my buttonhole, it meant less than nothing. This is a short extract from Joseph Hergensheimer's San Cristobal de la Habana, which contains much wisdom concerning drinks, cigars, and the art of fine living.
And the art of fine loving?
Living.
Oh, just checking. Sorry, I was like, yeah, I gotta hear about this Don Juan DeMarco now.
Yeah, right. So that gives you an idea of what kind of book this is, and it's collected, hundreds of recipes with some colorful excerpts like that.
Yeah, really colorful. You haven't even gotten to the Daisy one yet, and the Hanky Panky doesn't have a big one.
We'll read that one.
Doesn't have a long excerpt like that, but we'll give you a little bit of a lowdown on it.
Are you all ready?
I'm ready.
Some hanky panky?
It's because I'm a Hanky Panky.
So this is your choice, Billy. Why did you choose the Hanky Panky?
This is my choice. It's my choice because it's from an amazingly creative and well-known female bartender, and I was inspired so much. So I should say that Jessica Brash, a local bartender that works for Scotch Lodge, actually taught me about this drink. Gave me my first lesson on Ada Coleman, and I don't think that like every other industry, I don't think the contributions of the women that have come before us have been noted or recognized enough. And this is just a really cool. I think it's a brilliant drink. I think it's a subtle mix of flavors that really complement and play off one another. I think that she is a person to aspire to. So I thought that, not only Ada Coleman, but Jess Brash too. She's been doing awesome things. So I think that I thought, in fact, the Savoy cocktail book, John, was my first cocktail book I ever bought, all thanks to thanks to Jess Brash teaching me about that. So Yeah, it's got a fine. It's a. Anytime I think of Savoy, I go straight to the Savoy cocktail book. That's the first cocktail that comes to my mind. So, it wasn't hard. It was just there. I was like, oh, I want to make that, and everybody should try it. Everyone should try this cocktail at least one time. So yeah, let's get started. Hopefully, everyone's got the ingredients out there. I will be disappointing in saying that there aren't substitutes for the Fernet. You're not going to get the same flavors that the drink was intending. So, sorry. But we're going to make it exactly how it's called for. The other part is that, John, I think this is funny because you and I are named for this. Oh, wait. First, you talk about the Fernet. I like that you're displaying it right now. Mine's spinning. It'll make its way around. Oh, even in the hands cam?
Oh, I'm just saying I've got my Fernet.
Oh, good.
Everybody brought their Fernet. I got mine.
I love it. Yeah. So thank you for hooking me up with Fernet for this show. I appreciate you grabbing that for us. And yeah, I love how the flavors go. So let's get started. We're gonna stir this drink. All these cocktails, most of them call to be shaken in that particular book, but that was also done a long time ago, and we've changed up things. So just like we're taking a little bit more liberties with the measurements, we're gonna make sure that we stir it to keep the delicate flavors that we want. We know the appreciation for the dilution rates now a little bit more. And while sometimes I think shaking expands flavors, I've had this cocktail several ways, and this is the best in my opinion. So let's get started. We're going to start first with, it calls for 2 dashes of Fernet. And what we're going to do, instead of doing dashes, is we're just going to do a bar spoon. So one of two ways.
Bar spoon?
1 bar spoon, yep. Now I got these fancy spoons that I got to use last time too that I really, really like from Cocktail Kingdom. And they were made with, in collaboration with Jim Meehan. And there is a perfect bar spoon measurement on here, John. And I kind of love that because it gives me edges so I can fill the meniscus. So just because I have it, I'm going to use it. Otherwise, just try and hit your meniscus. And if a little falls over, it's no big deal. That's just the place that you stop. Just stop pouring right then. Smooth and gentle. Like I know you would. Sorry, all of a sudden started channeling Nat King Cole. I got it bad, and it ain't good. Alright, so next up, we're going to do Italian vermouth. So anytime, John, we had a fun discussion about this today, which is where our epithets come from. And you are the sweet, and I am the dry. Oh, wait, no. You are the Italian, and I am the French. Right? So...
Yes, I love Italian drinks, and I love Italian vermouth, but we don't call it that anymore.
No, isn't that funny? So yeah, this is, back in the day, Italian vermouth was the sweet red vermouth, and French vermouth was the dry white vermouth. I'm guessing it had to do with the grapes that were trying to be grown in the Champagne regions and things like that. As far as French goes, yeah, and jammy Italy, big bold flavors. I can see how the Italian was meant to be the big sweet guy in the crew. So for this one, we're gonna go. We're gonna make this a hefty enough size drink. It's not too crazy as far as size goes, but we're gonna go 1.5 ounces for this. Oh, I did. Yeah, Italian vermouth. So 1.5 ounces of vermouth. Oh, and I did get the Fernet. You can dash that one off too. Thank you. And
again, the recipe is only given in ratios.
Right. Which kind of is nice depending on who you're serving or what you're doing. And really,
yeah,
we're baking here. Like, think about a bartender as being a baker with liquid, kind of. We work with measurements. I'm kind of chefs too, but yeah, you know, as soon as you have a good ratio, you can scale it up or scale it down depending on how many people you're going to do. We love batching cocktails to make it faster, more efficient, more consistent for our guests, and we do that doing the same thing. So we always start off, we always eventually get to these ratios one way or another. So it calls for dry gin, John, and I was torn about this because we have that Old Tom gin still.
That we used last time, right?
Yeah, we have the geezer, and I feel like that's really era specific to the flavors.
You made it. You've tried this drink with Old Tom Gin, and you liked it, right?
It's really good. Yeah, I think it's
Well,
delicious.
then we should do it.
Okay.
We should do.
I encourage everybody to try it both ways and see which one fits you better, and let us know. Give us a little bit of feedback. Hit us up, and you can send us something on Instagram or on YouTube or on our website, because we want to know how you're feeling about the things you're learning and what you're doing with us out there. So now we're gonna get to that old geezer. Thank you, Ransom, Old Tom, and David Woodrich, like we found out last time, right, John?
Yeah, so cool. So we're doing it again. Happy to come back to this gin, and thank you for it.
Ooh, my pleasure. If anybody saw the Instagram pictures today, I used the same one. It gave it a nice dark, rich color. Yeah, even bartenders out there, I'm curious to know what you think and if you've experimented with this. Maybe you have a less botanical local like Aria that you like, or Vivacity, really botanical. Or maybe just a plain, like you'd rather have it with Beefeater, or just keep it straight. We want to know about that because John and I will retest too. But right now we're sticking with this. Let's get our ice, John. We got our orange, it'll be ready. And we got our glass. I'm going with this fancy beauty right here. So I'm not chilling it just because it's an antique glass and I think it's way too pretty. I'm not going to worry about putting any ice in that at all. But otherwise, if I were just using maybe this coupe, an everyday coupe, I might go ahead and stick some ice right into the glass along with a little bit of soda water to chill it. But if I would have done that, I would have done it right at the beginning. What were you going to say?
How much vermouth is it?
The same amount of vermouth as gin, so 1.5 and 1.5. Sorry, everybody, that I forgot to say that. So it was equal parts Italian vermouth and gin, then just a little bit of Fernet.
Oh, it's because our thing says. Because that's what it says.
Right, because that's how the book says it.
Because the book's all wet.
Well, yeah, because the book just gives ratios. Or a lot of times, just like with Imbibe, a lot of the measurements are, they're in wine glass form, right, John? So we have a couple of some of our cocktails that we were looking at were still like 1 wine glass, or 2 wine glasses, and in fact, I think the Yellow Daisy is like this. 2 wine glasses of one ingredient, 2 wine glasses of another, and 1 wine glass of a third. Thank goodness we now know how to figure that out, but we're just doing that in ratios too. All right, so nice stir, we should be there. Grab any strainer you have. I'm gonna use a julep strainer. Usually a really easy fit when you're using a Yari or a stirring glass like this. How's that? Pretty? There's a better back. I love that ribbon. Right to the top. Now, gotta get an orange peel going while John starts straining. And I'm gonna get a fairly good one. I'm gonna try and we're gonna get a good expression. What would look good with this kind of peel? Do you want to do a fun peel, John?
What kind of peel?
Like a fun, fancy peel?
Yeah. You got something to show me?
I don't know.
Something to teach me?
I have no idea, but we're gonna try it. Just kind of using some other things that I've learned. Or using what I've learned from some friends more than anything. But I don't actually have a good plan for it.
Okay, just starting with a large peel.
Starting with a large peel. I think we're going to do a fan tail. I'm going to try and do a fan tail. So I'm going to move this over so everybody can see, hopefully, how we do it. Kind of bird-like. So we'll start with a tip. And I'm also following, look, like, follow what you got. Use your imagination. Kind of make it look like something that it's already in the peel waiting for you. So I'm going to follow along the outside just because I want to save as much of the peel as I can. And remember, I already expressed it on there, so I'm not going to be wasting any of it either. I'm going to come down. That's going to be the tail. I'm going to bring it back. It's almost bird-like. We're going to give it a twist. Okay. So that means we have a body of the whole thing. We're going to have to twist it. So we want to leave, let's see. Want to leave a place for it to fit on the glass. So we're going to cut a little tiny slit out of the middle. Almost like an eye. And I want to get that tail like I told you. So we're going to get featheriness. John, I just feel like this fancy of a drink needs, we're coming out of a hotel. It's got to be pretty, right?
Wow, yeah, you're going crazy over there. I have no idea what to do.
All right, and I'm gonna put so far I have a slit. Looks like a hummingbird head looks like a roadrunner head in a way. So all we're gonna do now to get it to set rest right on the edge is I want to take and put a little slit here on one corner, tiny little triangle. And I'm going to put another tiny little triangle on this side where I'm hoping they meet up. Twist it up. Let those two little triangles French kiss. Ooh, might be too tight. It is. Here, I'll put that there instead.
Oh, Lucifer's a good idea. Maybe we should have a garnish-centric episode sometime to learn techniques and innovative things to garnish with.
Ooh, that would be fun. Lucif, love your ideas. Thank you for being a part of this. Oh, it's terrible. It was worth a shot, though. Look at that. Here's my favorite part. This is what I used to tell people. My friend Noah would put pretty birds on the sides of their glass. You ready? I'd say, that bird was meant to fly. So before you take a drink, get it in so it doesn't hit you in the face.
Are you drinking?
Ooh, I'm so ready. This thing's about to overflow, so I'm gonna just for the good of the cocktail.
Yes. I've got a garnish.
Mine died. It's all right. It was just fun to try.
Right.
Let's see it.
Thanks.
Oh, yours looks great.
Yeah.
You got me beat.
If I could get it to stick like that, that'd be really cool. But
hey,
this drink awaits.
Let's try it. Let's get it in our mouth.
Cheers, Cam.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Panky.
Thank you, Panky. Thank you, Ada.
Oh shit, that is a good drink.
Right, when you think about the fact that the only two differences really are, equal parts gin and vermouth. And we have that in different stages, whether it's a Manhattan and things like that. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I love it. The Fernet is really good.
Yeah, you get a little bit of mint.
Yeah, good amount of Fernet.
Yeah.
It matches well with the vanilla and the vermouth, right? Do you taste that?
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
And then the orange really gives you this well-rounded sweetness to the whole thing.
Here, I won't hog it.
Do you want? You can have one more sip, and then I'll take it back. Then it's
You can have one more.
By the way, I think it's funny. It's off camera, so nobody can see it. But anybody walking in there Um, walking in their neighborhoods, cherries are out right now. I just started grabbing them off the trees around the park. These are some Rainiers. They're so freaking good. Be on the lookout. Make sure you get outside. If you're in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, if you're here. Sorry, any of our local friends, like Lucif, go out and grab some cherries. They're yummy. Mmm. What are your tasting notes?
Yeah, crazy vanilla, which, wow. I knew this was going to be a winner because it has my favorite, or prominently features my favorite sweet vermouth. Nothing can go wrong with Cookie Vermouth Di Torino.
Right.
But it's crazy how these other ingredients actually amplify the vanilla in there. Like it already has that.
I agree with you, John.
Could you hear Brie? She said she concurs.
And it's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Thanks, Brie.
Anyone never not heard.
That's true. I just didn't know how it was coming in. My bad. She was quieter than she normally was, so I was just making sure.
Whoa.
Sorry, John. Please.
And then it's just the right amount of Fernet. I'm weird. I will drink Fernet straight. It's not exactly everybody's preference by itself, but it's just the right amount in here. I think the drink might be too sweet and too vanilla-y without that harshness, that or the menthol to round it out.
Yeah. There's so much in the Braca too. There's the Bronca. There's menthol. There's I think there's like 38 ingredients, 38 bittering agents. Again, another like Amaro like liqueur similar to. How do we always keep coming back to Jaeger, John? But that's what it's similar to. So
I taste that, but like it's not.
This is more refined.
Yeah.
Better quality.
So what I keep kind of like for some reason those like little bottles, the little digestive
Oh,
bottles. Is there a relatedness to those? Because it reminds me of those.
They're related as far as they were created for the same ideas.
Okay.
Like digestion and food when people weren't eating.
Because it reminds me of like a little bit of that.
Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting?
I don't know. John, help us.
John, help us. Our little digestive brown bottles. I literally have one right here. And it's got the name on it, so. If you don't remember off the top of your head, I'm talking about Wunderberg. I keep them. They're good little dashers. And by the way, everybody, if you want to have a cheap dasher, get an Wunderberg. Great for digestion. And then save the bottle. It's got a good little top on it. I never throw away glass for the most part. I mean, I always recycle it. But these, it's got a wide mouth on it. But like, John, we were looking at dashes of Fernet. This could work if you wanted a dash Fernet. That'd be a nice heavy 1-2 dashes that would pop right out. It'd be perfect. And it doesn't make that noise, but you can make that noise. It can be your additional.
You can make it make whatever
just to
noise
make
you
sure.
want.
Yeah, Donald Duck.
Viewers at home.
Your Apple phone.
Sound sold separately.
Right. Your iPhone has ducks or frogs. Maybe you could practice.
An air horn.
Right. That'd be perfect. Oh man. So tasty drink.
So good.
Glad you like it. Thank you, Jess Brash. I know you're not watching because you're working your ass off right now, but if you see the clip, I appreciate it.
She could feel it. She just got
Just
a
feel
smile on
like
her face from behind the bar. Truly believes.
chills up her back.
We can send in.
There's another true believer out there. Believes in tasty cocktails from all around the world. It's amazing. Bringing people together with drinks. I don't know, John. I'm here. I keep talking. I'm feeling hanky-panky with my cocktail and my Benadryl because my allergies are going crazy right now. So maybe they're affecting each
Lucid
other.
likes it too.
Now you gotta go get some Underberg. You're right. Maybe I should just get a case. We'll share it.
Yeah, maybe. We totally could. We can order it, can't we?
Yeah,
You can.
you can because they sell it at like you can buy it at the like a drugstore or right at the checkout counter. I don't even think you have to be. Maybe you have to be 21. But.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
No one's gonna get drunk on Wunderberg. It's like the person who says that you could hallucinate if you eat enough nutmeg. Well, like,
How much
sure. If I want to fucking grate enough nutmeg for me to have a seizure on my tongue, like, I'm sure I would hallucinate.
It's like those chocolate liquor bottles when you're like 16. You're like, I'm gonna eat the chocolate liquor.
Right? I ate the whole thing of chocolate liquor. It was whoa. I'm like, slow down. There's like 0.05% of alcohol. It just tastes like the booze in there.
That's where we get it too.
Yeah, Barber World Foods has it. You might as well buy the like 12 pack though at a time. It saves you money usually. Who am I? Look at I'm like a pusher. Like just buy 12 at a time. You know I'll buy them from you, Elusive, if you don't want to. If you don't like them, I'll buy them off you. Now, John,
I'm sure she knows.
I know we haven't finished our hanky panky. I'm happy that your cocktail is the middle cocktail because I'm feeling like coffee is like the perfect thing for me right now. The thing that I need to get me through the rest of the stream. So I appreciate you.
Can I tell you why I chose the coffee cocktail?
It wasn't just to give us a pick me up halfway through the stream.
No.
Okay. All right. Well.
It had an alluring name. Yeah, I don't have the scan of it from the book, but it had a very brief description next to it that said, the cocktail is named because it has the appearance of coffee, although it contains no coffee.
So you're SOL.
Well, shit. So it's
Yeah,
gonna taste great, but it's not gonna give me that 1-2 punch I was
This
looking for.
night is all downhill for you from here.
Well,
It's got egg yolk.
I mean, we've been here before, right? We've had Navy strength night. We know how things can turn out one way or another.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
I've seen this-
tombstones.
I've seen this book in actually, I think, 3 of the books that we've covered on this stream, including a Savoy cocktail book. But this is the first one I encountered, and I'm like, oh, I gotta try that. I love coffee, and what? It doesn't have coffee?
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Are you almost done with your cocktail? You gotta tell me. Oh, hey, by the way, we talked about not shaking anything. We have to shake the next cocktail.
Is that egg yolk?
It's got egg in it.
Ah. We will.
Yeah, I don't want to
We will be
drink stirred egg yolk.
No.
Thank you.
I don't either.
Pass.
You want? Is that how they developed egg drop soup? I heard that was a Americanized like soup thing. Maybe that. Somebody saw a stirred egg yolk cocktail and they're like,
I'm happy to begin on this one. But Billy, I'm going to need your help. I've never had this before. I know you've helped me get egg whites out. I've never gotten just the yolk, so
oh, perfect.
this could be a project, a fun project.
Ooh, this is gonna be a fun project. This is awesome. Thank you for saying that because this is my favorite way to like teach people how to do it, and I taught my kids how to do it this way. Yeah, they just because it's like it really is one of the easiest ways to do it. You wouldn't actually know it. Ew, I know, Lisa. We definitely don't want that, right? Let me get some eggs. Let me get it.
So we'll start with the egg.
Yeah, we'll definitely start with the egg.
You grab the milk too.
Milky. Here you
I
go.
got this around.
Oh my goodness. More milk, please. We did baby signing time with our kids, and now they still tell when they need something, they still use it.
You grab it.
John, make sure to grab your double strainer too. You want that?
Yeah.
That'll help with the
Always ready.
membranes. Nice. Couple glasses for us. Thank you, please. All right. So the other part, John, you still got one of your blender balls?
Yeah.
Throw it in there. Let's use it. It's going to be a great cheat. Make sure we're putting everything in the small side of your tin. I don't know what view we're at right now, but we'll get there. I don't want to waste the egg white. John, how are you on that? Do you want to save your egg white, or you want to just...
I like the sound of that.
Okay. So,
yeah. Tell me how to separate these two accurately, and
you're gonna grab. I'm gonna grab 2 little mason jars. I got 2 5-ounce mason jars here, or 4-ounce mason jars. I think that's gonna be the best way for me to do this. Might be able to do it with kind of less mess. I know I'm right next to the sink, so I'll dump everything in and wash my hands as soon as we're done. Are we on double hands view for John and I, so everybody can see us? Well, you tell me when you're ready, John. We'll get that going. Oh, I'm so... Stranos. Okay. All right, so while John washes his hands, I'm going to go over something quick with everybody. I'm going to get it on up or down. Okay, so we're going to hold, I'm going to try and teach you how to do it the way I would do it at work. I do everything one-handed when it comes to eggs. That way I can always make sure that I have a proper, clean, sanitary hand that isn't contaminated with what could have salmonella or anything else on it like that. In this case, we're doing our separating, so it's going to be a little bit more tough because I'm going to automatically do it, but we're going to hold it the same way regardless. And that's this strange kind of you're going to hold your egg long ways, grip it gently with your thumb and your middle finger, and what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little smile, give it a crack right across the sides. See, there's a little smile there. Everybody see that? And then I'm going to use that as a hinge. I'm going to switch my thumb to the front of that egg, and I'm going to switch this part of my hand, my middle finger, to the bottom part, and then I'm going to pull it apart, just like this. And I'm going to pour it into my hand. Just crack the yolk. So all I want to do now is, it's okay. So I'm going to move it around just like this, and I got almost all the white out, but I have a little bit of the yolk cracking through. So I'm going to gently do it. John, if you saved your yolk, unlike me, I want you to just roll your fingers back and forth a little bit with the yolk. You don't have to move it. It is going to separate all by itself because it wants to separate. So just this back and forth. It's like you're minding the stepchildren. You got to cup the balls. Yeah, don't forget to cup the balls. And as you're moving that gentle motion, the white is going to separate, and all you're going to have is that yolk, the perfect sphere of yolk just sitting right there in your hand.
And I can just drop that into the tin.
And you can drop it right into the tin.
When I got the yolk.
Yep. The thing about me separating them out to show you and have it, the thing that I like about that particular technique, and I do this when we're prepping a lot of eggs, especially before shift starts. You're gonna do it in that way because then if you do get too much egg white into this side, you can see it right away, toss that, and it isn't just getting into your tin and then you're stuck with it. So, meantime, getting that yolk into my tin.
We tried this before on the stream, and I kind of didn't know what was coming, but this time it worked amazing. What
Awesome.
A great separation! Yeah.
Isn't it funny how it like feels like it's never going to come apart, and then all of a sudden it just like the white slips right through your fingers, and you're like, "Oh shit, I got this."
It was like you said, it wanted to separate. Yeah.
Hooray, gravity! Gravity. Fine. Is working against me. That's an old man. I'm old. Okay. Do you remember there was a guy named John Mayer?
John Mayer's still around.
Oh yeah, but
It's how he's
he's I don't know. I thought he did some asshole things, and now he's like not really around anymore. It's how it works.
Cool.
Hey, John, I'm just cleaning up the yolk that I spilled. Or the white that I spilled. Want to make sure I have a nice clean station. Alright. Yay! There's that, there's this. Alright, you ready for the wrap?
Yes.
What kind of sugar are you going to use today?
Oh. I hadn't thought about it.
Do you have regular simple?
Simple syrup.
All right, perfect. I have turbinado for my simple.
1 teaspoonful. That's not I mean, I have a teaspoon measurer. Is that there's a conversion to bar spoons?
There is actually. Well, 1 teaspoon is going to be a 1/16 of an ounce as well, so that's going to be roughly just over half of a quarter of an ounce. So you can always measure it, or you're going to roughly do 3 bar spoons worth if you're going to use a bar spoon.
Never mind. I got so a teaspoonful of simple is fine here.
Perfect. I just happen to have this rich syrup left over, and I'm going to use that because it calls for either rich syrup or gourmet, which is gum syrup using gum arabic and sugar in a fantastic dilution. I got to start making some more of that, John. It's kind of it's work to make, but I really, really love gourmet. It gives a really cool viscosity to your cocktail without necessarily adding too much sweetness to it. It's sweet, but the viscosity outmatches the sweetness, so you don't need to use as much.
Okay.
All right, so we got our sugar, we got our egg yolk. We're gonna go to next up. We're gonna do port, and you and I weren't sure whether we should go with ruby port, tawny port, but the more I read into this cocktail, knowing that it was supposed to come out in a looking like a coffee-like appearance, I really, really believed more that it should be tawny port. Tawny port's already coming out with a light brown color, a richness to the whole thing. Ruby port would definitely work if you have it. Just use a port because it's still using the same grapes and sweetness that you want. But John and I, we're going to do tawny port.
And again, they've got ratios, so 1/3 what?
1/3 and then 1/6 of brandy. So let's go ahead and do. So this one's super porty. Let's go ahead and do. Would these ratios work out now? I just lost my brain. If we did 1.5 ounces of port, right? We could do 3/4 of an ounce of the brandy.
A brandy, sure.
And then
That works for me. If you think that's enough for the egg yolk and sugar, yeah.
I don't know, but all we can do is try it.
Sounds good.
And 1.5, I feel like and I was still going off of us trying not to overdo it and bring down our ratios a little bit. Do you have another idea of going just a little higher over?
No.
A next step up?
No.
Okay.
These are weird measurements to me. That's not how I'm used to doing it. 1/3 and 1/6. What?
It's a lot, man.
Right. But I got it. We're there. The ratio I gave you will work. All we got to do is try it. Remember, just like we did the last time.
Where are the other 2/6?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wait, did I mess that
let's
up?
go for it.
Well,
No. I'm just questioning the recipe.
yeah.
Let's go with what you said. 1.5.
1.5 port.
1.5 ounces.
1.5 ounces of port. Remember, you're gonna go right to your line, everybody.
Did you already do your sugar? Sorry, I'm slow.
Did I already do my what?
Sugar.
Yeah. Sugar's gone. And Then we're gonna do brandy. Oh my God, I almost forgot my E&J. Even after we talked about it, John. See how I am?
Oh, it's one of my favorite bottles to feature. Put that on the camera.
It does look pretty.
What a fancy bottle.
That gold bottle, that gold label. Bam! Featurette right there. Savannah. All right, we're gonna go. So we said 1.5. Flip our jigger over, and we're gonna go 3/4, which is the line just below the top. And then a dash of Curacao. Now, John, I'm out of Curacao. You have Cointreau. I have. Oh, we both have Grand Marnier though. So you want to do Grand Marnier? Or you want to try Cointreau for yours?
Let's do Grand Marnier because that was specifically called for in the Yellow Daisy, which is coming up.
That's true.
It's pretty close to Curacao.
Okay. So for this one, let's just do about, since it's calling for 1 dash, let's just go for 1/2 of a bar spoon for this one.
Cool.
So I'm actually using my bar spoon measurement. I totally went over. And by the way, I still have a whole bar spoon here. So that means everything that dropped in was more than enough to be my 1/2 a bar spoon. So I'm going to try and gently put mine back, especially since my spoon is clean. Otherwise, toss it up and see if you can catch it. That'd be a good trick. All right, let's see if we can spread our friends out now that we got more and more and more and more. Because you're right, John. E&J does need to be displayed proudly. All right. So we have everything we need. We got to ice this down. We're going to shake the shit out of it, and then we're going to pour it into our glass. Check out this whole thing. I'm going to actually use this beautiful little cordial goblet. Did you say really?
Oh. Do we dry shake this because it's got an egg?
Oh my God, we totally do. You're so good. Well, you know, it didn't call for either. No, we don't. We're only doing an egg yolk and not an egg white. And the egg white is what has the proteins in it that are going to
oh right.
that you want to get that viscosity. This is just giving it its creaminess. But I love that you called it out because I would have forgotten just because I'm distracted right now. So thank you. Yes, you would have caught us and saved our butts otherwise. All right, so let's just shake this with regular ice. We are going to double strain it, so make sure you have all that going. And a 25 to 30 second shake, so make sure you get a good hard seal, okay? Remember, down, back, up, back, down. Up, back, down, back. You can already feel it. Freezing my fingers. Holy shit if this doesn't look like coffee.
Ooh, frosty.
It does look like a Frosty. Did you look inside already? Feel like I should be at Wendy's right now. I know, he happens to be right though. Look at this color. You seeing this thing? It does look like a Frosty.
Oh, French fry.
John, Wendy's used to be like my favorite treat.
It's a little reddish for coffee, isn't it?
Not a little. Not by much though. I'm looking at this and thinking a mocha easy.
Yeah.
It's a little pinkish, but not by much. Man, that ruby port would have made it more pinky. But I'm like, I don't know. And this one didn't call for
you think
garnish.
this got its name by like someone mixing up this drink? Like, I want a drink with port in it, and then the next person over, a few barstools over, saying, "Bartender, what are they drinking over there? Is that coffee?"
I think that's an easy way for it to have happened.
They didn't have Wendy's Frosties back then, I guess.
I guess not. Man, they were missing out. Whole Foods? What? You want that? I'm like looking at it too, and I'm wondering. It does kind of look like a milkshake. I'm wondering if just the yolk enough was. Now, when you read the story for this, John, there wasn't any. Was there any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It wasn't really a story. It wasn't a story. It just said when properly concocted. Or the name is a misnomer. When properly concocted, it should look like coffee.
Okay.
That's all it said.
I'm with you on that. I'm even looking at yours through the screen. I'm like, yeah, it's not quite a pink squirrel. I'd say it looks more like coffee.
I mean, maybe I didn't properly concoct it, Mr. Craddock.
Right. Sorry, Mr. Craddock. Hey, you ready to taste it? Here we are.
Let's
Cheers.
taste it. Cheers. My choice, the coffee cocktail.
I'm scared of the egg yolk, but
Thank you for trying. Thank you for choosing this.
Oh, it's lovely.
That's delicious. Simple.
You know what would go well with this?
French fries?
A Wendy's Frosty and French fries.
It's odd though. The flavors do kind of remind me of that. Like,
It tastes like coffee, kind of.
it does kind of have some strange illusion of coffee.
This is so strangely good.
Yeah.
On paper, I didn't understand it. It's easy to drink.
Really easy. It's jammy, but a little dry on the finish thanks to the brandy.
It's very milkshakey, though.
Yeah.
Very, like,
Yes.
Which I can see the gum syrup adding like even more of that to it. They use that. That was a big pre-prohibition thing, John. In fact, a great local place I think is Small Batch
oh, yeah.
that makes really good gum syrup, pineapple gum syrup, raspberry, and regular. It just costs quite a bit. Yeah, maybe we can work out a thing and start featuring their gum syrup. They can help us out with a little industry discount. I'd love to do that. In fact, I'd start using your things at some of my catering events if I could, because I really love their product. But John, every time I wanted to use it at any bar program I was running, I couldn't figure out a good way to fit it into the cost. 'Cause it ends up being like $1 an ounce.
Yeah.
That pushes up your cocktail margins by a lot. A great product. Can't say anything wrong about it. But yeah.
You feel like it wouldn't taste like coffee if it didn't have coffee in the name? Do you think we're just like, well, that's a elusive product, like we're just like putting that on it?
Yes, I think it wouldn't taste like coffee if it didn't have coffee in the name, but it would be eerily reminiscent of something with vanilla and the jamminess of it, kind of, and the tannins of the tawny port kind of are reminiscent of that like exhale of coffee
Yeah.
that you're gonna have. So it's not too far off. I mean, maybe there was some like very lightly roasted, not the best quality coffee at the time. Here's my gleam. That could be the case. Not like the intense roasts that we have now or the flavors that we know of now.
It's really drinkable.
It's really drinkable. I got to keep this in my back pocket because I think that is a great. It's a low ABV. Drink this in the morning when I'm camping. Yeah, 1,000%. Are you going camping? Yes.
Hot, or like hot, yeah. Like I was actually even like imagining what it would taste like hot, but you can really have it hot. Like,
It'd be gross as shit hot. Sorry. Yeah.
It tastes good. Like
It would be gross. So here's why the yeast in the ports would turn. The egg would cook.
oh, gross.
There's a lot of reasons why that. There's a lot of reasons why everything. It
Cold
won't
drinks
even.
you
It
can't
won't
have,
even
like,
taste good.
extra
That
dairy
cocktail that we
process.
have, John, won't even taste good warm either, though. So
Like it has to be super
yeah,
cold.
it's like it's perfect to have now. It could be good as a punch if you kept, but I wouldn't want it to constantly diluting. Holy shit! This is what we do. I got it, John.
Uh-oh.
It's either a smoothie, either one of those fucking frosty
Slushy?
machines,
Yeah.
or a horchata, like horchata machine. This is where I grew up, y'all. So,
Yeah.
like the horchata machine that just keeps that shit flowing after they put it in and keeps it cold. If we could do that and pour that,
with the egg.
yeah,
It would.
it just have to stay cold.
Just agitate.
It would
It has
continually
to keep moving?
Yeah, it would just keep moving, and it would have to stay at the right temperature. As long as it's under 42 degrees, horchata slushies.
I don't want to slushy bad now.
But I want this in that form. Like, this is the first cocktail that I'm like, wow, this is kind of a cool, like, classy way of having a fun,
Yeah, I
punchy
agree
drink.
with you.
John, well done.
Could we get it to freeze though?
No, not the
Not
point
just
isn't
cold,
that it's
just to keep
frozen.
it
The point is that it's
cold.
like cold, and then it is available to just pour cold. This
You don't
would-
have ice.
You don't have to have ice. You just pour it and serve it right then, and you could make a big batch of it ahead of time, and it wouldn't do anything. There'd be nothing wrong with it.
No.
In fact, John, like I've had a hard time having like batch drinks where I'm like, fuck, this is great batched. Not batched. Sorry, love doing batch drinks, but like keg drinks or huge batch circulated drinks, like we're referring to now. Some everyday cocktails get lost. I've had a Negroni that was through a draft system. I've had a Vucare, and fuck, I've had a good dozen cocktails. The ones that I know how it's supposed to taste, like a Vucare or a Negroni, always seem to come up like a little short. They're very homogenized at that point. It seems like when they're pouring them out. Have you had the same experience?
The slushy is just a novelty. It just kind of makes it the original cocktail a step down.
No, actually, I'm referring to a different style than the slushy. Now I'm referring to the draft style. Do you remember
Oh, I'm sorry.
the penny?
I'm sorry. So,
Yeah.
yes, I mean I've had draft cocktails. Yes.
And I'm referring to the type because now if they're so basically what I'm referring to is like if you had this on a draft as well, it would taste fantastic because it isn't a Negroni, it isn't a Manhattan, it isn't a margarita. Every time I have a familiar cocktail and it's on draft, I can tell what it's missing after being
Yeah.
recirculated and kind of in that system and going through the lines. You know what I mean? You can never clean the lines perfect. So you have all those things, whereas I think something like this, people would be happy as shit to get their hands on. And it'd be unique and different. Sorry, I got excited about that because I feel like we found a new form. I personally found a new way to like start thinking about how to do something I felt like I was shut down to.
I've not had a cocktail like this. That's right. I mean, it is very familiar and milkshakey, like I've had other drinks like it, but I've never seen this presented as a cocktail option.
Oh.
Now, if you serve this in the like over the flowing horchata machine, I don't think you can call it a coffee cocktail. It's gonna.
Yeah.
That's probably why I chose it, right? It's because it has this misleading name. But if you really wanted to sell on your menu, you can't divert the coffee drinkers or divert the people. I don't want coffee right now because it tastes nothing like coffee.
Right. We'd have to switch it up. We'd have to tweak it to make it our own just a little bit, and then change the name completely, I suppose.
Change the name. Do you have any name ideas?
Ooh. It depends on how we change it. To be perfectly honest, it would totally depend on how we change it. I instantly thought of because of this bygone era that we're already working in today. For some reason, orange blossom water just popped into my head. But I honestly, the more I think about it, think that would ruin it. It'd be too aromatic and too floral, and it would lose. I really like the strange richness of it, the jamminess of the port, and the vanilla in the port that matches with my exhale of brandy. Do you feel me? I'm like, brandy, I get vanilla, and then finish with a burn of brandy, and I'm like, fuck, that is a cool combination. I'm going to have another one of those tonight for sure. After we're off the air, because I know we're not doing after hours tonight. By the way, we're not doing after hours tonight, if anybody didn't see that. Luciv, you're probably the only one here, but still. We're not, I'm just kidding.
Luciv, you're after we get to your cocktail, that will be our dessert, and you're dismissed.
Right?
Otherwise, we keep you around for, well, you know what happens during after hours.
Right? It's way too fun. You've been here before. You've been to this party. All right, so let's. Do you want to get to Lucifer's drink? I think before we do, with their
So I have the explanation.
Oh.
It was sent to me.
Nice. All right. Well, good. Bree can verbalize this, so we'll let Bree speak and tell the Lucifer's explanation for why they chose the yellow daisy.
So she said they watch a lot of westerns around their house. So the story caught their eye. Oh, I could also bring it up. You guys want me to bring up the?
Oh yeah.
Show the page of the book.
Okay. So hold on. 1 second. I'll start over.
God damn, that was a good drink, John. Sorry.
Yeah.
I did not expect to like that as much as I did. Everyone out there, run out and get yourself some port and some E&J brandy because you know you need it. And by the way, I've been working with Kopke for a long time. They're not overly priced, but they make a really good ruby, tawny, and dry white port. Remember Brian, John, that I worked with at Afuri? He turned me on to their dry white port. I had no idea it existed. And he used it in, I believe it was a cocktail he called Sugi. And it was a shochu cocktail. It was fucking amazing. It was the first cocktail he ever made for me, in fact.
You know,
Oh, John Bree's having a hard time making it happen.
So
Can you
big,
remind
I
us?
can't, and it's not. Oh, there we go. Hold on. It was.
okay, yeah, just carefully didn't move anything else. Yeah, the image loaded really large, much larger than our available canvas.
Lucif, I'm with you. Another trip to the liquor store. It happens. How do you think I had my moving party that you saw? That you wanted to help me wind down?
Maybe on the left,
Yeah, I like it.
or just right on Billy's face.
Yeah, I like it on Billy's face, but.
What if I move?
Sorry, that was
Can we keep?
Okay,
if only we
here
could
go.
lock it onto my face, and then I move it stayed with me.
Oh yeah, we can get.
Oh yes.
Alright,
do that.
anyways. So they watch a lot of westerns. So the story, I don't know if we have the story, but the story caught their eye. I was also intrigued by the absinthe edition, and daisies are the best flower. So that's it.
Oh my god, I love it. And
Nice.
she's the Western
Thank you,
edition.
Lucif.
Thank you so much, Lucif. The Western, she's one of the Western stories that she's most specifically referring to as Dirty Dick, I believe is what it was. Am I right?
I don't know. I don't have the book.
I think I'm right on this one, John.
Not only the favorite drink, but also the one made famous, if not invented, by Richard
Deadwood
William
Dick.
Deadwood
Deadwood Dick,
Dick
thank
Clark,
Yeah.
recently deceased.
So
84,
Dick Clark's,
one-time Custer Scout, Pony Express rider, Deadwood Gulch stagecoach guard, inspiration for all the Deadwood Dick novels of E.L. Wheeler, yada yada yada.
Thank you, Lucif.
Love Bill
Deadwood
Hickok,
Dick Clark.
Love Bill,
Yeah, so it knew all those people all around the ruckus makers of the time, the bear fighters, and apparently Dick Clark's long lost great grandfather. Who would have known how many years later Dick Clark would be taking on American music after he took on Deadwood Gulch.
New Year's Eve.
Thank you. Nice.
Yeah.
You're right.
Alright.
All right, so we're going to do this one. This one's going to be another stirred. Lucif, thank you again for picking this. We are doing a variation of the measurements. We were really wide with the measurements, and it calls for this cocktail to be made for 6 different people. We're going to scale that down as we've talked about with every drink that we made tonight, and you're going to see how we actually get there. The scales that we went, and you'll see for yourself, we had 2 wine glasses of each gin, French vermouth. Now, French vermouth is the dry white vermouth in this particular cocktail book, remember we talked about? And then 1 wine glass of Grand Marnier. Dash of Pernod, that's the absinthe there. And as John and I looked at this, we figured we could scale it down. Do you remember the ratios, John? For wine glasses from the Imbibe book?
Oh, well, according to Imbibe, a wine glass was 2 ounces. So one of the more standard measurements we use today.
Right. 100%. So we were looking at, but it was 2 wine glasses. So we're looking at 4 ounces of gin, 4 ounces of vermouth, 2 ounces of Grand Marnier, coming up with a total of 10 ounces, roughly 10 ounces, pre-diluted, of this cocktail. They also called for this cocktail to be shaken. And as John and I discussed, if you were shaking this particular amount of alcohol and you were going to be serving 6 people, excuse me, shaking it would get you a better dilution rate faster, but we are going to scale it down, make this a single cocktail. So that's why we're going to stir it to have a more proper dilution rate. And then scaling that down, not making it 10 full ounces, let's make it 2.5 ounces. How's that sound, John?
Great.
Perfect.
I'm not drinking 6 yellow daisies tonight.
Right. Right. You're like, you guys really suck for making me do this. What the fuck is your problem? Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna do the gin. What gin are you gonna go with, John? We're deviating from each other on this one.
Yeah, I've got Aria gin.
You've got Aria? Love it. I have Aria too, but we talked about doing something different, right?
By all means.
I kind of want Plymouth, but Bree would hate me in the morning. So I'm going to go River Rain.
I love Plymouth.
Just because you're going to do Aria. Because I feel like I want some more botanicals. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I was scared there for a second. I couldn't quite decide. Aria is a great choice, John. You had me second guessing myself, in fact. So I feel like the Orris Root.
You going River Rain?
I think I am going to go River Rain. Still a dry, another local.
That's the other one that I have. I could match you. I'm going to stick with Aria though. I feel like the River Rain kind of
could overpower
the
it.
Spicy notes kind of dominates the drink whenever I put in it.
That's exactly
in a good way.
That's exactly what I was worried about though, because I want to taste the French vermouth and I want to taste the Grand Marnier together. In fact, I'm totally fucking it up. You stick with Aria. I'm going Plymouth.
Yeah, I love Plymouth gin.
Sorry, Bree won't have most of this cocktail again. She's got camping training tomorrow. She gets to learn how to camp.
No,
We're sending her to a place. They're like, hey, this is a tent.
Have to do it.
Welcome. No, it's really good. I'm glad she's doing it. I wasn't making fun of you at all. I was like saying that we would be safe going out to actually camp now because you're getting trained for it.
First step.
I couldn't be the only one. Cute. I forgot the tent one time, John, when we went camping. Bree and I went camping. I remembered everything else. I packed everything else. We had
we had
everything.
amazing food.
Oh, we did have amazing food that time
We
too.
had everything else we needed, but at least you didn't bring enough food. We were fine. We slept in the car with 2 dogs.
Right. We used the hatchback of our CRV and 2 tarps and made it work.
So what are you pouring there?
I'm pouring Plymouth.
Instead of 2 glasses of gin, we're scaling it down.
We're gonna scale. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I'm so sorry. We're scaling it down to 1 ounce. We're gonna do 2.5 ounces total. So we're gonna do 1 ounce of our gin. I'm doing Navy strength, so keep in mind, if I wanted to be a little bit more for the same proof that you're using, John, I'd just go 3/4 of an ounce of this. But Billy's
But that
body.
Navy strength Plymouth is so delicious. Just go for it.
Thank you. I forgot to get out my dry vermouth. So let me do that.
Oh, your namesake, Billy the French. This is the other vermouth for the evening.
That's right. Whereas French was known as being the dry white of the time. And like we touched base on, I swear that had something to do with all the champagne that was coming out of the region. And that being a dry white grape more than anything else. So another ounce of that.
Going dry.
And make sure you're hitting your meniscus like we were just trying to do there. You get that little glossy bubble right on the top just before you pour it in. And as everybody can see, keep your vermouths in the fridge, please.
Yes.
In fact, this one's been actually low, so we'll put that away. And your ports technically too, but let's keep the spinner looking pretty. Got Plymouth on there now. We'll make a little jingle. All right, so I got my Plymouth. Let's get and I got my French vermouth. Let's get our 1/2 ounce of Grand Marnier.
which this recipe specifically calls for.
Specifically,
Not
right?
not just curacao, not just the other names it goes by.
And I'm happy we have. Right. Although Cointreau isn't brandy, is still an orange liqueur, was one of the originals, but I don't believe Cointreau is a brandy base, a grape brandy base.
Right.
Wait, talk again about the quantities of gin and vermouth.
Yes, so 1 ounce of gin, 1 ounce of vermouth, and a ½ ounce of Grand Marnier. Sorry for not being clear enough, Lucia. Thank you for following along.
Lucia went to California with everything but her wallet, so she understands. How that works.
Thank you. That seemed way harder than making our little grocery getter into a tent.
And so lastly, this calls for Pernod, right?
Right.
Which is a anise flavored how do you say it? Pastis?
Pastis, yeah.
It tastes kind of like absinthe. So you and I are going with absinthe, right? Because we don't have true Pernod.
Well, technically, John, in fact, Pernod was one of the original absinthe makers back in the day. So they actually they did actually make absinthe, and you can still get Absinthe Superior and one other from them. For the longest time, America banned absinthe, thinking that people were hallucinating due to the wormwood that was in it. So they made wormwood illegal. I feel like a broken record on this one, so sorry if I'm repeating myself for those of you that have tuned in. But we now know that it was the quality, the terrible quality of the alcohol that people were drinking, as well as the fact that it was 190 proof a lot of times, and people would put pine resin or pine sawdust into alcohol to try and make it taste like gin or taste as if it had expensive botanicals in it. And the particular pine that they were using was also crazy poisonous for people. So a dumb thing of bathtub gins in a bygone era had more to do with it than the wormwood. So finally, I think it was 10 to 15 years ago that America finally allowed wormwood back. It became legal again, and thank goodness now we have places in Oregon, John, that are making it. So basically, the idea was Pernod made a non-wormwood alcohol with anise flavoring that they were able to sell to us, which was Pernod.
Right.
Through that. But even back then, this particular thing, I'm 100% sure that when it's calling for Pernod, it's calling for Pernod Absinthe, because that was kind of synonymous with it at the time. What absinthe are you using, John?
I've got Lucid absinthe.
Nice. Now, I thought that was made here.
It is, according to the bottle, product of France. Imported and bottled by Hood River Distillers here in Hood River, Oregon.
That kind of means it's had an even longer life. It's a bridging of that, but it means it. Hopefully, that means some fantastic absinthe makers were involved in that from France that were able to keep that going while we had prohibition over here. Because so many liquors got lost between that time. So many places were.
Right. I've only recently gotten a taste for absinthe, and I really like this one. And it came in the slimmer bottle. I didn't have to pay for a full bottle of absinthe.
Yeah.
I've had this for almost a year, and look how much I've drank, right? It doesn't come up a ton.
I can't see. Do you have like 3/4 of a bottle still?
Oh. Yeah, a little over half.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. How do I show this?
No, that's perfect.
Wow, cool.
Oh, that's rad. Lucid.
It's a cool bottle.
Like Lucid. And knows all about it. That's awesome. Yeah, and I had heard about it being from Hood River, so I instantly was like, rad, it was one of the first ones made here in Oregon. In fact, I thought that they had said it, but it must have been one of the first ones
Like
distributed in Oregon, yeah. And partially made.
Now, if you're making this for cocktail for 6, you could throw the dash of absinthe in, but you and I agreed earlier we're gonna spritz this on the glass of
100%.
the drink.
Right, we are.
Okay.
We're going to spray it into the glass just before, so we're going to spray it in. We're going to stir it up, spray it in, and then pour our drink into the glass over it. And right, if you're going to make it for 6, you're using about a half of a bar spoon again for those 6. It's roughly about the dash size, I'm guessing, that we were working with back then. Since I have a couple of the old antique bitters bottles that were being used at the time, I'll put that one down there. You can see the dasher tip and top is very similar to that Underberg that we were looking at. A little closer to you. That good? Thank you for your help. All right, so I'm gonna start stirring this up. I have my tulip strainer ready to go. Here's my glass. We still got our mister ready. That thing is almost chill enough. We don't want to over dilute it, especially because of the dry vermouth. All right, I'm gonna give it 2 good spritzes. 1, 2. One more quick stir around. Let it keep spinning. Get my julep strainer and get one nice ribbon. Look at that. Woo. It's my favorite.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
I picked the wrong glass for this cocktail, John, but I'm excited nonetheless.
Tiny.
Yeah, I mean, I got a 5-ounce coupe here. I was going for Era style because I knew you were using a coupe. Oh, look how good it looks in John's new coupe.
You're both new, John? I like it.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, I got some new coupes. A couple new coupes tonight.
Is it crystal?
They're beautiful. It does look like it's crystal.
I think it may be, and era appropriate.
Did you go antiquing?
No, a friend gave these to me. He's moving out of town, so
Oh.
he knew I liked cocktails as much as he did.
What a good friend.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
All right, you ready to try this?
All right, no garnish called for this because it's a large format drink, so I didn't call for garnish. Cheers.
Right. Cheers.
Ooh, what would you put in it if you had to put it
Well,
on?
we should taste it, and then we'll
Okay.
go.
Sorry, I'm jumping the gun. I got excited.
And a lot of times when you have like an absinthe mist or a little bit of rinse, you don't always need a garnish too. Huh. Although this one could.
It's a good drink.
That is a good drink. That is
It's a-
strange. All the sensations that are hitting me right now. I have salinity. I have salinity.
The sweetness of the curacao.
Yeah, a little bit of
Or the Grand
sweetness,
Marnier.
and then a finish with the anise on the sides of my tongue.
Yeah.
How is it with the Aria? Are you getting a good amount of like enough botanicals with it?
Yeah.
I almost wish
Yeah.
I would have had a little more botanicals now that I'm tasting mine.
Can you spread more?
I could.
Thank you.
I love that it just got the absinthe on the nose. Really, you're not really drinking that much absinthe.
You know what it makes me want though to try? To do a reverse show where we do the same drink, the hanky panky and the yellow daisy, except next time we absolutely switch the gins. Because I'm
Old Tom in this one.
I'm pining figuratively and literally for the pininess of like Old Tom to go with the initial. Yeah, I want a little more botanicals. Now, I bet you got them. Is it
Oh.
great? Oh, Lucif used Old Tom, and it's great. And I could see how that really, like, the butteriness and carameliness of the
Yeah.
aged gin, more marrying together with the dry. Whereas my dry gin and my super high proof dry gin and my dry vermouth, yeah, makes it a little tighter. Nice. I can see how it's really good, Lucif. Thank you so much. What a fun drink. I got to try this one
Yeah,
again
it's good.
too. I'm gonna switch up the gin.
It's so close to a martini, right? You started with the same dry gin and dry vermouth, but then a little bit of this Grand Marnier made it very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I may be a heathen for saying this, but in a way more enjoyable than a dry vermouth. Than a martini. Although check our martini episode for the science on that.
Right. That.
But I like this
callback.
kind of like this martini with a little extra, the curacao or the Grand Marnier is kind of nice in there.
I like
Yeah, I like it too. I agree.
Do you think any more about garnish?
I do. You'd be safe with an orange, and I think it would complement.
Orange mine.
Yeah, give it a shot with the orange. I'm gonna think about this for another minute though, because I think that would sweeten it up a little bit more. But I want to know how it tastes to you, and then maybe I'll put on a different garnish. What about an herby
grapefruit?
garnish?
Grapefruit. Herb.
Yeah, grapefruit could be good. It's funny. Thank you for saying grapefruit though, because I was thinking lime. The dryness of lime could be good, but I wouldn't want lime in the flavor profile. Grapefruit could be good because it's kind of that tanginess. Now that Luce is saying an herby garnish, and she specifically
Yeah,
said mint,
I like that.
thyme, or basil, I'm gonna go grab marjoram. Because that's my back pocket. Most people don't think about sweet marjoram. Most people think it's just a alternative to butter. Sorry, that's margarine. Whoops. But
Nice.
most people don't know what sweet marjoram is, right? And it's a really floral.
I didn't know until you showed me.
What do you, now that you've tried it, right? Did I give you some?
I think you gave me some for a cocktail
That's
kit
right.
on a prior stream.
Did it remind you of any food that you've eaten?
Did it remind me of what?
Did it remind you of any food you've eaten, or reminiscent of it invoked a memory in you?
No.
Okay.
It's been too long since I've had it to recall. What are you getting at?
He just laughed. I don't know.
Well,
He's on the porch.
Billy went out for a pack of smokes, and we never saw him again.
Yeah, he never came back.
I'm just wondering, sometimes people, I think that people are more familiar with flavors sometimes than they are the botanicals that get you there. And it has a reminiscence of oregano to it as well. So sometimes I think it invokes food. So I was just curious if it invoked that for you. I feel Frenchy. I think of herbs de Provence, which there is not. Is there marjoram in herbs de Provence? I don't think there is.
Lavender.
There's lavender and oregano, basil, I believe. But Bree's gonna check. Maybe
You know,
there
I
is.
like
Lavender, fennel, tarragon, dill.
I remember
is
when
one.
we had that.
Okay.
I remember when we had that drink that your cocktail kit came with marjoram, and I remember thinking, oh, this is quite distinct. This introduces a thing to the cocktail that wouldn't get from any other adjacent herb, even though maybe it is like oregano or.
Yeah, you're right. And even as I just smash it in my
Somewhere in
hand,
there.
I'm like, ooh, I'm getting it right away. So I'm really curious.
Yeah.
And having that, it is in French, in herbs de Provence, which is like the French catch-all for herbs. I feel like in the Provence region, but marjoram's in there, so maybe that's why I'm feeling it on the nose and thinking it's going to go well with this French vermouth. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's see. I don't want to influence anything.
That's really good.
It totally changes it, right?
Changed it. And your nose, you still get the absinthe a little bit on the nose, but less so. You get more of the.
You more get the absinthe on the exhale now, but you get an herbaceousness at the beginning from the marjoram. Really, really, John, my favorite part is it is making up for that piney, resiny,
Yeah.
Old Tom like flavor that I was hoping for once I tasted it the original time.
Mm.
I got that now, and it's still lighter without having the Old Tom gin in it. It's one of my favorite things about the way we taste stuff, though, is it's not in the cocktail. Literally just smashed it. It's on my hands, and it's sitting on the top, but it's the first thing to hit my olfactory glands before the alcohol even hits my tongue. So it's influencing the flavor without actually, it's tricking them. Which is, again, you and I, how many times have we done that though? Like, or how many times have you and I talked about that? Whereas I love tricking people's senses and having things pick up on your olfactory glands before you hit the cocktail. Because it can make a cocktail taste better. It can make a cocktail taste sweeter. We talked about that with lemon. Putting lemon on the top will make a cocktail have a little bit more of a sweeter taste to it because the lemon is drier. Yeah. Putting orange on there makes the cocktail taste a little less sweet because you start with the initial sweetness.
You know what the orange did for me here? Because my drink was already sort of a little more herbal with the aria. Adding the orange, all it did for me was made me think, oh, now this is a martini.
Oh, no way. It changed that and turned it into a... And have we made a martini like that, or did we just talk about it? The one with the Dolan sweet vermouth and the... did we talk about this one or not?
No. It just...
Okay.
I don't know. I make a lot of martinis with an orange twist or orange peel, and it just makes me think, oh, this is definitely going to be a martini, and then I sip it, and it has the Grand Marnier, so it's a little different.
Gotcha. But is it sweeter then, or is it make it more dry now, or less sweet?
That's interesting. Yeah, I kind of thought I didn't know what the orange was going to do until I tried it, and then you said it. It tricked me. This has brought it more towards a martini.
So it dried it out for you, yeah. Okay, that makes wow. That's so cool. Fuck, I love that about what we do. And that is the one cool thing that you can always get.
Herb was the right way.
We've got to revisit this one, and we'll again. This is another one that I like. I like the 1-to-1 with a little bit of orange, and being able to like switch up a nice, fun local herb. Man, you got me going. Like, okay, herbs are coming out now. We could give somebody some fresh stuff. This comes from whose farm? I don't know. We'll tell. You know what I mean? Like as you present it to some guests. I'm itching to make drinks out there for you. John, I'm happy you and I get to practice making drinks right here. This is awesome. These are tasty as shit.
Get to practice what?
Making our drinks right here.
Hell yeah.
What a great exploration of flavor.
Oh yeah. And tonight, I think I complained earlier about the Savoy cocktail book, like seeing some drinks in there that I'd never seen and thinking, that can't go well, and there's just way too many cocktails in here. This can't be good. And 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Really interesting in all different directions.
I don't think, and I 100% agree with you, John. I don't know if it's I don't want to say it's a fluke, because I have made some cocktails from some of these old books that aren't awesome. I'm sure somebody loved them. I can't say that there wasn't like a good 100 people that didn't love them back in the day. And in the 1800s, if you had 100 guests like something, that was enough to make more than, you know what I mean, enough to put it on the books. But I've had a couple where I'm like, so I am even more pleasantly surprised at the combinations of cocktails that we've had. I feel like, because I've had some where I'm like, oh, this is going to be great because it's in the Savoy cocktail book and this is the industry standard. And then there's some in there that are like, good thing that died in the 1920s. good thing, and Mr. Craddock that went with him, because yeah, they aren't awesome. But.
So Lucy got excited about local stuff and said about berry season in Pacific Northwest, and I was gonna chime in about the drink you made me the other night. It was so yummy with your strawberry syrup.
Oh, thank you.
Tell everybody.
All right, so berries came up. We went out to one of our local farms. Strawberries are in right now. I didn't get hoods. They're super temperamental. and they only last less than a day, which they taste great and they're super sweet. But I feel like, John, do you know Hood's? Hood strawberries?
Yeah. Used them in a cocktail with me about 1 year ago.
That's
Around this
right.
time.
When we first started all this.
Oh,
Holy shit! It's been a year.
that's true.
Holy wow. What a fun year it's been. And so instead of Hoods, which they were great in that cocktail, I went with Willamettes, and I hadn't had those, a little bit tangier. And I gave you some of this syrup the last time we saw each other, just a few days ago. Bree's talking about it. I combined this strawberry syrup that I made similar to Oleo Sacrum, equal parts sugar to strawberries, and then basically pour off the liquid that then comes from that after they've sat for 48 hours at least. I took that and combined it with mezcal and just a little bit of overproof bourbon. So we did Wild Turkey 101. It was a half ounce of that, at least 1.5, if not 2 ounces of mezcal, depending on the strength of the smokiness of your mezcal. A little, almost just under a half ounce of the strawberry syrup. And then stir the whole thing up because it's old-fashioned style cocktail, and finish off with a lemon peel. I feel like lemon really brightens. Not only do I like how lemon works with the flavors of agave, or the mezcal being an agave-based spirit, but strawberries and lemon fit better than strawberries and oranges, in my opinion, as far as like a contrasting flavor. And not having that over jammy sweetness of the whole thing. And yeah, it turned out really, really good. I had several. Bree had a couple as well. It's definitely one. I think I recommended it to you. I didn't even tell you about the bourbon part of it. I didn't think that was important.
That's right.
But the bourbon part, I will say the nice part was it added like a little rounded butteriness, and a little bit more sweetness. If anybody is new to mezcal, I feel like that's a great way to make it a gateway drug for you and just tone it down just a little bit. But John, I know you appreciate mezcal in its fullest form, and that's why I didn't even bother mentioning it. I think this would be just as good with like a full 2 ounces, if not 2.5 ounces of mezcal, half ounce of fresh strawberry syrup, and then lemon peel to finish. Serve it on a BFC, and fuck, it was awesome for this time of year. Thank you.
That was really good.
I've had a good week, John. I've made like 4 new cocktails right off the top of my head. I've got to test a few of them out. We haven't R&D'd all of them because it's been a busy, fucking crazy busy week. A great crazy busy week, but very busy. And I'm excited. I have one that I'm trying to figure out tannins and how to mix them with like a milky substance like oat milk or probably macadamia nut milk. But I still want tannins to come through, and it's fortunate for me that your latest drink with the tawny port, I'm really lucky that you picked that cocktail, oddly enough, because it helps bridge that gap.
Gonna inspire the next. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make this one vegan because I still have you know how I like having options for all of my guests, because I think everybody's worthy of good drinks. I don't want to exclude any one person, even if you don't even drink alcohol. I want you to still have an amazingly fancy drink that you couldn't make on your own at home. And if you're coming to see me. And yeah, it's just kind of, it's interesting to try and find that and have these new cocktails when each one of us pick one, and everything that our guests are able to pick, and how it inspires me to help fill in the gaps to make other cocktail ideas I've already had kind of come to fruition. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, because I wanted mezcal. So hear me out, because I might as well tell everybody while we're doing it. I have to get a little ancho chili Reyes Verde, I believe. I think that's going to be the right flavor. But I took shishito peppers, John. Fresh shishito peppers. They just came out about 3 weeks ago here in town. And I infused those into just a white rum. And it's tangy and bitter and almost reminiscent of bitter melon. You know, do you remember that cocktail that we were talking about when we were at Deadshot?
With melon? Or your favorite Deadshot cocktail?
No, the bitter melon cocktail that we talked about, that I told you has been on their menu since they started. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So bitter melon is found in Southeast Asia, Eastern Asia, and India. And the variation from India to Southeast Asia, it's funny, as India, I feel as the climate dries, as you get closer to India, it gets very spiked and rigid, a different type style. But the flavor both comes out. In fact, they use this all around the world as a natural way to drop your blood sugars and help people with diabetes. In fact, it's been used for hundreds of years for that. In Okinawa is a fantastic place. I got to go in southwestern Japan, a southwestern island, and in fact, that is one of the biggest places where bitter melon is eaten and kind of incorporated into cuisine. And it's also the island that people live the longest. One of the one of the 5 longest living places in the world, because people make sure that they do all these great things for their bodies and eat the right way. And yeah, it's interesting. So that has this very distinctly not super sour, but more just this lingering bitterness. You remember our Suze night? You and I like Suze. I'm thinking like how Brie reacted to her first take of just plain Suze all by itself. And that like, oh my gosh, it's almost overpowering in the first few times you have it. But yeah, they made that into a fantastic cocktail, and the sourness, or not sourness, the bitterness and tangy vegetative flavor kind of came through in the shishito pepper. So I wanted to mix it with mezcal and maybe green chili liqueur. And then macadamia nut milk or oat milk, and then something tannic like hibiscus. This could be gross as shit. You know me, but I can't not try it and then see if I can make it work. It's like the fucking challenge. You know what I mean?
You know, have the coffee cocktail as a template.
Right, and in fact, no shit, I'm already thinking about maybe doing an egg and tawny to give me the tannins that I was trying to get out of hibiscus. Right,
boom.
And the vanilla, I love vanilla with mezcal. I think those two flavors could really complement each other. So I love that that's exactly where I was going now.
Cool.
That's
how that worked out.
Thank you. Well, sweet. What do you do something with butterfly pea flower? Done. I've got a couple of those actually. But we can totally do something here that we can play along with. I have like 2 pounds of butterfly pea flower. It does well, and in fact, it goes from blue to pink with any citric acid, and it doesn't have to just be lemon. In fact, thanks to the head bartender and co-owner of Botanist Bar. I've gotten I've gotten my hands on a couple of great acid mixes. The last drink that I made with that butterfly pea flower in it, John, had a mix of citric, malic, and tartaric acid in it. And it gave the whole thing an incredible tang and fantastic flavor. And instantly was that notch that you needed to kind of, it literally stabbed through the blue and just had this pink like bouncing right through the cocktail. Once you I put it in, at first I sprayed it in and it tasted great as you integrated it and stirred it. But then I should try to do that again and try and take some pictures of it with just a couple heavy dashes and how it just stabs pink through the blue. If that doesn't bring in the viewers, then what will? Holy shit, right? I got nothing then. At that point, I'm just showing my ass. I don't know what else to do.
That'll work too.
John, do you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
So I instantly just had the showing my ass comment just instantly made me think of the Jerry construct in the the marriage counseling episode where they had Beth's construct and Jerry's construct, and Jerry was just like a fucking worm with hair. And every time and finally Jerry was running away from his doppelganger worm version, right? His construct version. And finally he stopped and turned around and he like lifted his hand up like he was going to punch the worm. And all the worm went, "Oh God," and just shoved its ass up. And he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." Oh. It was like instant submission. It was amazing. So sorry that just went through my head. Hey, don't blame me. Blame the Benadryl at this point. Yay, Rick and Morty!
Navy Strength Plymouth.
Right? Blame the Navy Strength Plymouth. Blame the fact that I'm trying to be I'm trying to be a holdback parent as much as I can, and I've not introduced my kids to Rick and Morty yet, except for like subtle things.
They know tiny things.
They know tiny things, but I still haven't been able. Right before I was like, I should watch this with my son. I saw a Rick Harmon episode, and he's like, "Do not watch this fucking show with your kids." And I was like, you know what? If the owners, if the creators say that, maybe I better slow my shit down.
I watched the first 3 seasons fully, and then I think one of the other after hours on the stream, you said, "Oh, you gotta watch." You were making a joke about season 4, and I watched it right after. I don't know, munching potato chips and drinking another Rainier or whatever we do after hours.
Right.
You made a joke about what was it? You want me to make you an app, or what was it?
Do you want to make an app? Yeah.
Hey,
do you want to develop an app?
Oh, look, see, Lucy's like, nope, too.
Yep.
She's
I
not
appreciate that.
Here, so.
She is a good parent. I appreciate
I don't
it.
have kids, but I wouldn't recommend that show. That's.
Well, there's
and yet it's some of the best. It's some of the best sci-fi I've ever seen.
Yeah. And yet, and opening,
and very crude,
and mind expanding in some form, in some ways, and it holds the attention of people like me by being mind expanding and then incredibly vulgar at the same time. So that's why I'm like, oh, okay, I can fit in this and be like, I can be like smartened and dumbed down all at the same time with this.
For some reason, for me though, it's like kryptonite. Every time I watch it, I fall asleep.
Bree can't make it through one episode.
I pass out. I don't know what it is about. It's like Rick's voice. I don't know. It's something.
It's the intro. She's like,
yeah, I agree. All my memories are of late night.
Yeah.
Binging, falling asleep. Yeah, absolutely.
It's great though. That's my falling asleep now, but it's only because I've seen every episode at least 10 times. So it's just an easy like.
I don't know if I've ever seen one all the way through.
Oh no, Brie, you're missing out on great TV. Hey, I keep telling her. We had the best conversation, and all of a sudden I'm like, I know this is the worst timing, but I really want you to watch this episode on the marriage counseling on Rick and Morty. Yeah, didn't even make it through all that.
Is that in the latest season? The one with the worm? Because I remember Beth visiting the Pickle Rick episode. Beth visits the marriage counselor, but the father is not there.
Right, that's a family counselor. No, this is. I think it's season 3. Yeah, I believe it's season 3.
Okay. All I know is Pickle Rick, combined, 3 or 4 sci-fi tropes into. They had more in a 30-minute episode, more action than a 1.5 hour AAA action movie.
Oh yeah,
that team does very well, and there was the whole family, take it down to earth stuff.
Right, the family
deep cutting. This family's messed up. Yeah.
Right.
It's good.
Everybody's got their problems. Yeah, they dive into actually some cool ass shit. I would have never expected some heartfelt moments wrapped around people seeing their. Yeah, it's actually. Everybody's a little fucked up. Don't forget it. We're perfectly imperfect, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Which is why those are the parts that make me want my kids to see it.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
then it's all the rest of it.
Heartfelt, but not in the American Greetings heartfelt way. It's in the reality way.
Right, exactly. In true like connectivity way, in our most like
Vulnerable.
yeah, and in our most not fuck. Help me with a more articulate way of saying fucked up, and with our most imperfect, or not imperfect, but yeah, with our flaws. And yeah, at least everybody's got to get through. Some of us are just stuck with them. Let's deal with it and move on. Yeah, and like how. I just want to say, I think it might be called the Inner Space episode. I could be wrong, but it's the episode where they created a universe in a universe, and yeah, that's the first one. Even though it's completely out of order, that's the first one I want my kids to watch.
Oh wow.
So, I don't know why.
Consequences.
Yeah. Wait, is that what it's called? Consequences?
No. It's you learn.
Yeah.
Consequences of raising a civilization yourself.
Right. And how imperfect are we have that we create the idea as humans, create the idea of imperfection, but even if you believe in a God out there, I can't believe that anything's perfect. I think that's fucking impossible. I don't care if you created a planet. It is. Everybody's got their own little shit we're all trying to figure out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the toilet episode.
Oh yeah, the toilet episode's at night. That is a good one, right? And then
I think that's the one that I watched. Like as soon as you I think that's the one with the app.
That is the one with
develop
the
an
app.
app.
Yeah.
Rick has to get away to he has
He's
a
a
special
shy-
planet with his own toilet.
He's a shy pooper. Shut up. Shut up, Summer. Anytime Grandpa Rick says that, it means he's going to poop. Shut up, Summer. I hate you. He's a shy pooper. You know, I was once a shy pooper too. I'll admit it. I'm already red in the face. When Bree and I met, I
love this Bree inside knowledge here.
I wouldn't poop in public, or I wouldn't poop in a public bathroom.
Home from work.
I'd drive home from work. I only worked like fucking a half mile away, but I'd drive home from work, take a quick shit, and go back to work because I don't
Shared
know what it
bathrooms
was.
are the worst. I mean, they're just none of them.
Well, and I was the guy to clean them. I'm the guy cleaning your bathroom,
Oh,
so
yeah,
now
you've
you
got
know why
some
I'm so
great
scared of But I was illogically scared of stuff like that. So now I've actually started reading things that microbiologists say, and I appreciate that. Yay, science! Thank you. Thanks. I'm happy that soap. I didn't have to spray myself down with antibacterial, or what was the stuff that we used to?
Lysol?
Yeah, Lysol, like 100% antibacterial, and turns out you're really making it worse for yourself. But I used to love that
I
shit.
know. I mean, now we're all like totally in this like hand sanitizer.
Oh my god! Yeah, and then we brought hand sanitizer back. Welcome to the superbug era.
And then we all got like so yeah. There's so much good research about why it's so bad.
Right, to have everything antibacterial.
Why? What is so bad, Bree?
To like over sanitize, like over antibacterial, you're just creating super bugs. They're never gonna go anywhere. They're just gonna get smarter. But yeah, hand sanitizer is like
The pandemic with so much misinformation about COVID and what level of sanitization you need to avoid it, and people just being deathly afraid of it, like it will end their lives or lives of people around them. You're thinking that it's creating. We swung the pendulum too far towards sanitization.
Yeah, because I think prior to COVID, we were kind of like people were starting to like not using soap with like triclosan. Like there was all this like evidence to support that like you're just doing more harm than good. And then I think COVID happened, and everybody's like, "Give me everything with alcohol in it. Give me everything. I'm sanitizing everything."
Antibacterial.
And it's like we're gonna have to dial that back a little bit because we're just gonna make it worse. So.
Did you guys notice that same thing with to-go products? everybody was starting to
Yeah,
get their to-go
trash.
products like a little bit better, like eco-friendly, and then like or less plastic, or some people weren't doing to-go shit because I know working in a restaurant and having to pay for all those to-go containers, while yes, we want to share our food with you, but holy shit, that adds like $3 just in containers to every bowl of soup sold or whatever the fuck you want to call it sold.
Just the trash.
If you do it right. And if you don't do it right, it only costs you 30 cents, but you're also fucking up the planet with all the styrofoam containers and like hard plastic containers that can't be recycled. And yet everybody was totally screwed when it came to money and trying to make their margins work. And I don't know anybody I don't know a lot of people. I know several people that did do it right. I can think of 2 people right off the top of my head. They both do sushi, John. Yoshi's and Mitate. Vegan sushi and regular sushi. They are both using like compostable eco products. But I can't blame everybody who couldn't at this point because a lot of people weren't even planning on doing to-go stuff. I had a hard time getting some earth-friendly products when I was doing classes, John. I was shocked how hard it was to get.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but again, sorry, it hit me that pendulum swinging though, right? Like we were getting way better at like more sustainable products and not so much shit, and now we're gonna have to try and like swing that back, especially in an era where we're so worried about the environment and the planet.
Yeah, gotta get that back. Oof.
Right? Less takeout. Go out and eat. Just try and do it safely. Don't cram yourself in.
I mean, yeah. Don't cram yourself in.
Don't cram yourself in. Don't cram inside. No licking friends. No licking strangers.
Oh. This, like, countdown to opening up thing freaks me out.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean, Bree?
So, like, once Oregon hit 70%, the governor said, like, everything's just gonna open. Like, it's gonna go back to, like, pre-pandemic. And I just feel like everyone's gonna go crazy. And I'm not even worried specifically about COVID, like, because 70% is pretty close to herd immunity.
Yeah.
I just think people who have been caged for too long don't behave when they've been let out. So, like, there's like been a lot of like articles that I've read where like places that have like loosened restrictions, like people just like lose their mind and they like forget how to behave and they like, you know, get in fights with people and they're like, it's just like too rowdy.
Well, you haven't had enough
to swing back.
You haven't had enough interactions with others to really have like conflict where you're you don't know how to use your manners. You haven't had practice in almost 2 years. But also like you don't have any you've had no conflict. You're not really interacting with like a lot of people if you've been hunkered down in your house, except for the conflict within your own family. So I can see how people are just a little like I can't justify it, but I can see how that
I never thought of that.
can be a thing.
Huh.
We'll see. We're only 90,000 vaccinations away.
In Oregon. Okay, cool. I hope that this will be balanced out a little bit by people that are reserved to, they've been doing this quarantine thing for so long that they're not so desperate they're gonna hit a restaurant on day one. I know restaurants are partly open still, but some amount of people are going to be cautious. That is interesting though. For the people who go for it, they're going to be more unhinged than they would have been pre-pandemic.
Well, and if you think about it, the ones that they've found study after study after study, the people who are more likely to be out, to have been out at restaurants this entire time, have been people that don't think that this is a thing.
Sure.
Don't actually believe in it.
Wouldn't that mean though that everybody that's like venturing out are the people that played it safe? They've already been out there.
Yeah,
that's your
that's
baseline.
true. Well, no, yeah, but you're also thinking like aggressive people. I think aggressive people who don't believe it like push themselves that. I think introverted people that haven't been doing it now have more carte blanche to get out.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they even I was reading an article saying since sporting events not that I was huge sports fans, but since sporting events opened up to having almost near capacity to most there's been like more fights and they're like throwing stuff at players and they're just like people are just more like.
Well, fuck, hasn't everybody gotten more aggressive in the pandemic anyway? Just in general, with all the things that we're trying to like work through right now as far as
like,
society.
We just lived in like a fear base, like you're in a fear base,
anger base,
and,
and,
like,
right? Yeah, that's true.
Anyways.
Deep. You're getting your therapy tonight, y'all.
We got the vaccine for the biological. We got thirsty therapy for your mind.
We got you.
Gotcha.
Just sit back, hang out with us.
You are now brain vaccinated to go out and resume normal life.
Yeah.
We'll help you. If
You know what's out there.
let us know the story. We'll let you know if you were the asshole or like in the right or in the wrong on this. In fact, we'll discuss it as a group and make sure that we're all on the same page. But we're here to help you, right? We need to hold a mirror up to everybody and be like, no, that was you fucking up. Welcome back to society. Try and ease up on your ness, you know. And I could be that too. Could you imagine me after all this time behind a bar? I might be like grabbing people. Hi, how are you? Hey, do you want to come sit here? Hey, how about I make you a drink? You want me to tell you about Ada? Ada Coleman. She made the hanky panky. No, I'm not hitting on your wife, sir. I'm sorry. A hanky panky is a drink. I was just talking. I'm sorry. Holy shit. Oh, I'm married. Look.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, that's accurate, Billy. Going back to work.
Yeah,
Like,
I can see
as
that.
if snapping right back to pre-pandemic. I'm so glad I saw you, Billy. We went out for listen, am I the asshole edition? Billy, I'm so glad that you and I got to go out for cocktails when we were both vaccinated, and that was the first time you and I had ever had cocktails together on the same side of the bar.
Yeah.
And you were, if it wasn't you going back to work, right? It was you becoming a customer, and you were exceptionally nice, exceptionally. Hey, can I get your contact info for the bartender? Can I follow you on Instagram? I love what you're doing here. You want to make like networking connections, and you're just mind blown at the alchemy that they're doing at Deadshot.
I appreciate people. I appreciate what you're trying to do because I like it. Because people have shown me that same kind of kindness, and it helps me go.
Yeah.
And we all need it, especially when we don't. In our industry, we're on a constant roller coaster of downs and ups. So it's nice to have something cut through sometimes that isn't about either one of them. Just somebody seeing you. It's kind of like what I like doing for guests. I want you to be seen and you to know that you're important to me. At this moment, you're the most important thing to me, and I'm trying to help you. It might be you and 10 other people, but I'm trying to help this situation right now and make it a great experience for you. And seeing people and acknowledging people makes others feel fulfilled and makes you relax and want to do that. And I want to give that to somebody who's working their ass off, especially right now in like what is such a hard time. And thanks for saying that, John.
What you did was a good reaction
Thanks.
to the pandemic. Great. Good reaction to returning to normal. That's great to see.
Thanks. It felt good. It was great to be out with you. I couldn't have asked for a better introduction. In fact, I had such a great time. I took Bree back. I talked to her about it every day that week and took her back a week later.
Their food is delicious. And it felt really safe. Like, I was shocked. Like, there was enough distance. We were outside. Everybody wore masks when people came to the table. Like, that part, like, I was super nervous. Like, super nervous.
Yeah.
And it felt like it did. It felt safe. And it was nice to feel taken care of. And their food's freaking amazing.
Yeah, Greg, Matt, and Adam took care of everybody. Took care of you and I, John, and Bree and I. And it was like, yeah.
Cool.
Especially when you see people doing cool things that they, like, yeah. I want to encourage. I'm 1,000% believer in positive reinforcement. Make people feel good for doing the right thing. Make people feel good when they're making you feel good, because that encourages them to keep doing that and share that and spread that with everybody else. Holy shit. Like, why wouldn't you want to treat your server or your bartender or your anything just a little bit better because they're trying to treat everybody great, and then they can spread that. You know what I mean? You can help recharge them when they're at their tables. If they look like they're tired, don't give them shit because they've been working their ass off. Like, hey, great job! I see how hard you're working. Thank you for taking good care of us tonight. And that's enough of a little boost. That will make enough of a difference on that person's day to carry them for the next 3 hours of the hard fucking work they're doing. And let's be honest, John, it's hard fucking work. There's a reason that there are a lot of people that you talked a bunch of shit about all of us getting new jobs. Thank you, Kim Jong Grilling. I'm totally quoting you, but talked a lot of shit about people not, getting real jobs, quote unquote. And because our industry is hard, a lot of people have done that now. Why not when you can go out and do something and you can work from home now and do something online and not have the physical, mental, and emotional, abuse that you deal with that is actually can be good if you have a good balance. So give people balance, they'll give it back to you. That used to be Tennessee Reds and Preem. What were we looking at? Domino Club drink. Barley with a barley. Oh, and it had coconut water, and I've never had a coconut water drink.
Used to be where Deadshot was.
Got it. Well, John, did you have fun?
Oh yes.
You feeling good?
Oh yes.
Should we sign off here in a
Savoy
minute?
cocktail. Yeah. I think we are complete.
That was a great show. What a fun cocktail book. I'm gonna make another one of those port drinks for my dessert tonight.
I've got this egg white left over. Should I do something with that?
Yeah. Make yourself a Ramos Gin Fizz. Do you have any orange blossom water?
That's what I love to do when I'm off shift, is make Ramos Gin Fizzes. I do have orange blossom
But
water.
Fry it up too.
You should just but now's the time for you to do it, to practice and have fun with it. You know what I mean? It's not too crazy.
True. True.
And you can get the sweetest head without any pressure, and then you can take a cool picture and we can share it with with everybody that follows us.
Point.
That could be fun. Or, although I forgot, a Ramos Gin Fizz might call for heavy cream. I can't remember. I always mix those up. There's enough egg white drinks though out there. Ooh, I got it. Make yourself a New York sour. You have lemon juice already? You already have a lemon right there.
Oh, with the port on top?
Yep.
Sold. Okay, yeah, I like the sound of that. Because New York sour never like blew my mind, but now that I have this port and I'm getting used to it, I want to try it in different configurations. By the way, I think this is the first time I ever had port. I think I mentioned that. I'm looking forward to experimenting with this bottle of port that you got me. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to share. It's interesting to keep in mind that you want to keep it at a lower level, and I've had some, from my experience to yours, know that when you're adding wine to egg white cocktails, that's why I like the float. You still somewhat kind of have a little bit of a curdling effect as the alcohol cooks, chemically cooks that egg. So you definitely want to shake it and get a good shake, and dry shake it and then wet shake it like we talked about before. But also I've noticed that depending on the wines, if you have a really yeasty, and I'm thinking Barbera style wine, sometimes those like a red wine that's a little jammy but a little bit drier, Barbera, it tends to sour and almost make it taste like it's curdled more so when you're using something like that. So I'm really excited for you to try this tawny because it's it's less acid and more sugar.
Yeah. I like it. I'm excited for that drink. Okay, New York sour.
Nice. And you already got
Luciv, thanks for hanging out all night.
Yes.
And thank you for the cocktail suggestion.
Great cocktail suggestion. Thank you.
It's fun. Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you in a couple weeks, right, John? I'll see you before that, but we'll see everybody else in a couple weeks.
Yeah, another show in 2 weeks.
Okay. Oh yeah, are we doing spring drinks? Originals? Is that what we're doing? Did you-
I think the plan is drinks for springtime. A little bit late, but be around the summer solstice. That's fine. It's still good.
We're just a little late in the game. That happens, but we'll get you there. In fact, John, I think I already have one that I've been playing with this week. I'm excited for you to try. So we'll talk about
Cool.
that more.
Cool. Yeah, that's right. You and I have accumulated a lot of ingredients for this months ago, and then life got busy. So I can't wait to do them.
Me too. All right. Well, everybody, join us in a couple weeks. Thank you so much for coming and spending time with us again. Luciv, great choice. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you all soon. Bye.